Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome along to Cello Sport here on YouTube. Coming to you live from Guthrie Park in a beautiful Havelock North. A great day for the second leg of the Central League playoff between Havelock North Wanderers and Wellington United. Of course, a quick recap from the first leg. Wellington United come in with a 5-3 lead on aggregate, so Havelock North really looking to turn that around and get a winning margin of 2 goals to advance into the Central League for 2022. My name is Chris Samrock. I'm bringing you the commentary today, and alongside me is my good mate Scott Easthope. Welcome along, Scotty.
Welcome to everybody, and thanks for having me again, Chris. It is absolutely beautiful here today, mate.
Wonderful day, massive occasion. It's a beautiful place to be commentating from today. We are right in the thick of it on the deck here at Havelock North Wanderers, so there should be a bit of crowd noise as we go through, which will just add to the experience out there for such a massive game in the region and wrapping up the local club season. If we go through the lineups to begin with, a couple of changes inside Havelock North. McPeak obviously starts in goal, a back four consisting of Maney, Barkley, Stewart and Ralph. Groot, the skipper, will continue to hold a midfield who was outstanding in last week's game. In front of him will be McCurdy and Frooms. Again, Tom McFrooms was a real danger man in tight spaces when they were under pressure for long periods in that first leg. And then a front three where Christensen returns from the bench to replace Dakota Lucas up front with Perks and Alatis either side. So a dangerous lineup. One other change is Albertini just misses out today on selection, carried a knock during the week, and will take his place on the bench and will no doubt come out into at some point in this game to affect it. He was very good in that last game. For Wellington United, again a couple of changes through injury and suspension. The lineup will be Plenderleith in goal, a back four with Brian Heredia, Stroyer, Amado, who comes in at centre back, and Fizz Aiden at left back. Midfield will be Leo Villa and Mandalawi, with Nacho Junka, Coco Heredia playing in the 10, Jesse Kang out wide with Win Skinner playing as a central striker. So again, a couple of changes inside the Wellington United lineup, mainly around the suspension, bringing Gonzalo Amado in to centre back. Gonzalo hasn't played for a wee while. He's coming in as under a little bit of an injury cloud. Speaking to Gishi, the coach, it was just a big game in a final. You've got to take that risk, and he hopes he can get through a decent proportion of this match, but that'll be one to wait and see how that lineup goes with Christensen up front, because he's going to be a handful to deal with coming in cold. So the team's just going through their traditional handshakes at the moment. The match officials will be led by Matthew Conga, will be assisted by Mark Rule and Eddie Cook, and Pistol Pete Linney will be the fourth official on the sideline.
We'll appreciate that. To be fair, that's an upgrade of a nickname for him.
So Scotty, you would have had the chance to watch that first leg back during the week. What are your thoughts coming in live for the second leg?
Yeah, I must say I really enjoyed the watching that match back in my own time during the week. The coverage was great. And to be honest, I thought the late goal for Havelock really changed this tie. And I'll eagerly, like everybody, will eagerly be awaiting how this game starts. But last week's game, I think, showed defensive frailties. I think the pitch being a little bit potentially better down there probably helped create a few more opportunities to score than maybe we'll see today. But that late goal made this day really, really interesting for both sides.
So for those of you tuning in who aren't necessarily aware of the teams, Havelock, the home side, will be playing in what's very striking, the Brazilian-like kit with their yellow shirts, blue shorts, white socks, and Wellington United, who will be playing left to right in the orange, blue. Feel free to reach out if you're watching on YouTube with a comment of where you're from. I understand we've got a contingent tuning in all the way from Argentina, so I hope A, you can understand me, and B, you enjoy the stream and watching Gishi's side try to earn their promotion into the top division for next year.
Hopefully there's a few tuning in from Samoa as the young Samoan flyer gets the start today for Havelock and Jarvis Alatisi. If you are, welcome along, and we look forward to seeing how he's going.
Tries to get us underway, but a bit of a delay, and Havelock finally get us moving forward. and a longer ball out of play. Be really interesting first 5 minutes. Kind of see what kind of structure both of these teams set out in this game and kind of give us an approach as to how they're going to see it out. Wellington United obviously protecting that lead, who just needs not to concede.
Yeah, and I think you'll see from Havelock during the week in talking to a couple of their players, particularly McPeak, they're definitely going to look to get the ball forward maybe a little bit more direct this week, which I personally, chasing the tie maybe a little bit more so than Wellington United, I think that's going to be a good ploy for them, but particularly being up here where potentially the pitch isn't quite as good. To get the ball in towards that attacking area and that danger zone as quickly as possible could be a good tactic for them early on.
Early chance to get the ball forward, but easily cleared by Wellington United, and Lism does a good job to keep that ball in play and move the ball forward. Just draws a soft free kick just in front of halfway. Yeah, if we were slightly critical a little bit of Havelock North, especially in that first half last week, was just their inability to get the ball forward and wide and trying to go through midfield where they just weren't getting any kind of consistency in their build-up play. It changed a bit into the second half and they got the ball forward and caused problems. So, I think James McPeak in his comments pre-game was kind of right, and it's a good approach that Chris Greathold is taking into this game, and I think it's going to be the one that worries Wellington United the most, because what they really want, what they don't want, I should say, is a team really coming at them chasing goals, especially if they can get one early. Elatis gets his first touch on the ball, tries to cut it aside, but just gets cut out a little bit into Heredia, who rolls the ball forward, but Juka's not going to catch up with that, and it's just going to roll out for a throw-in.
Yeah, spot on, Sam, but it is going to be really interesting to see how they bring that tactic to life and how accurate they are. Obviously, with the fella up top starting this week, being a little bigger and maybe a little bit more size to their attack this week, getting that ball forward, he's probably going to offer a little bit more of that back-to-goal, hold-up style play, which will suit the tactic again.
Heredia wins the first header. Christian said, I think he was looking for the ball out wide to find Perks out on that right-hand side, but just kind of shanked it away a little bit off the inside of the leg, and Brenda Plenderleaf was resplendent again in that bright yellow kit.
Surprised they've let him come out in that with the yellow shirts of Havelock today.
Yeah, Junker collects it and just rolls it into Coco into a tight little area, but loses the ball out to Elatis. Nice aggressive start here from Havelock. Not giving Wellington United any time really on the ball to settle. Goes long into Christensen. Chested off nicely to Elatis, and they win themselves another throw-in.
There's something different already just off that throw in there, Chris. I think that gives us everything we need to know around them just getting the ball forward to the big man, letting him use his body to get it into another area that's going to cause Wellington United problems.
And Elatis, he looks strong and he looks pacey. It's going to be a dangerous one to get off Christensen because he is going to get some knockdown balls from in there. Long throw-in just cleared away by the centre-backs, and they turn it over well. Coco picks it up again and rolls it further out wide. Tries to get the return ball, but it's just turned over. Havelock a little slow to recover on the front line. If they're looking for that approach where they try to win the ball and go wide and high early to try to turn this Wellington United side around, then they've got to have the commitment out of that front three to get themselves back into play so they can get out early. Otherwise, it's an early chance. Rolls it across the six, but gets away clean. Elatis looks to show feet. They go for the longer option into Christensen.
It looks like the Wellington United skipper's all over that tactic. He's screening, trying his best to screen that pass into the big man. But that's the danger also for Havelock, as you were saying, Chris. If they don't get pressure on the ball after getting players forward, Wellington United will have opportunities with their ball players in midfield to get spray balls in behind them before they can recover.
That small passage of play from Groot there, that just summed up everything that we saw in that first 90 minutes at Newtown Park. He will put himself about, he'll put his body and his head in bad areas.
He's an effort
to try
ball,
to turn the ball over.
Yeah, I enjoyed watching him.
Great effort from the skipper. Another set piece from the throw-in. Looks like they're going long again. Probably a good test of a new centre-back pairing in between legs.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
a decent throw in. He considered hitting that on the turn, but thought better of it. He'll try to drive touchline. He's given a penalty.
Interesting that they're clearly deeming that to be in an unnatural position.
Yeah, the decision's a handball. He's checking with his AR. He's going to stay with that decision.
Oh wow! I mean, hey, it 100% hits his arm there, but whether his hand's in an unnatural position, I'm not entirely sure, because he definitely has no ability to get it out the way. Yeah, but if the referee deems it to be in an unnatural position,
oh no, he's overruled it. He's given the corner. It appears.
Come on, ref!
all the Havelock fans, they're not happy, to say the least.
Bit of confusion there.
Come to the TV and have a look. Rubbish! Smash it!
Great ball back.
Bang it! Bang it! Bang it!
A little flick on. Alatis is through.
Oh, penalty
No
kick.
doubt with that
Come on!
one. No doubt with that one.
Wow, Alatis's pace, Jarvis's pace just gets him there that foot quicker than maybe others, and down he goes.
It was just too much. Too much. That touch away was just too much for Plenty to deal with.
Stonewaller in it, that one.
You can't not give that one, I think. I think he's lucky to get away without being booked, if you're being honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, penalty is obviously, you know, a pretty hefty penalty, particularly if he scores it. But you'd have to say normally maybe a yellow card there.
Would have to be. Christensen to take. He's scored a number of goals this year. Big moment in the first 10 minutes of the second leg now. And a penalty overturned, and then straight off that set piece, they'll earn themselves another one.
He looks confident, doesn't he?
Come on, Lino!
And slots it in.
That was a confident penalty, Sambo. He really, you could tell he was standing there thinking, I'm going to slot this, and we're on to the next one.
Yeah. Totally agree.
Come on, Havelock!
Interestingly, the goalkeeper didn't seem to choose a side at all, really, did he? Just sort of.
No, he kind of leaned to the right, and I think there would have been a dive there if it's gone that way, but it's his right, and as soon as the ball goes the other way, he just hasn't made a motion. Hits the back of the net, and it's a huge moment in the first 10 minutes of this game.
It was a confident strike, open foot, that side, nice and firm, low. Probably not going to save it if you choose that way anyway.
Come on, BJ!
Hiratia looks longer down for his brother Coco. Should be fairly comfortably dealt with at the expense of a throw-in.
Yeah, I like that from Wellington United, the 10 coming in short, bringing in traffic, and then bypassing him for Hiratia beyond. I need a bit more of that.
So a big moment now. Havelock get themselves back within one of overturning this tie. So they're going to have to keep attacking, but making sure what they don't want to do is give away soft goals. Oh, unlucky. Alatisi got a good turn on that and then tripped and gave the ball away. The pitch is quite soft around the touchlines.
And particularly down this end, Sambo, where McPeak's in the sticks there, it was well softer down that end than the other.
So Mandelawi was able to get a shot away on the half turn there, but nothing too dramatic for McPeak to deal with. McPeak goes long. This is
Solid.
this is the second phase ball that Havelock has to win if they're going to play this longer model of game, and they've started off doing that quite well.
They've won their tackles nicely early on here. No, that's what they don't need, Sambo, to go from the controlled, solid tackles where they're winning the ball and constantly winning the battles to over-aggressive fouls and inviting pressure.
No, especially with the quality of Leo Villa, and we spoke about this a lot in the first leg. He has the ability to put it on a dime. So you've got to make sure you defend well. They defended these set pieces well in the first leg, that being said. Good delivery and good clean header. Should go for a corner. So another dangerous set piece to deal with.
Yeah, left foot, right foot for Leo, either side. Strikes really good ball, can swing it in from anywhere. It's not something you want to invite.
Great holder, not happy that the free kick was encroached a few metres there. Having the first word to Pete Linney, making sure his day's not quiet, sitting on a chair with his electronic scoreboard. The delivery from Via. Short in the near post, another good clearing header.
I like the start for Jarvis today because he is going to do some frustrating things where potentially his touches get stuck under his feet a little bit. Maybe he makes a couple of bad choices, but he'll give you something down the other end that other players won't, and that's potentially where they leaned with it, and I like that as a positive option.
Yeah, I like to see him go a little narrow and try to attack the outside of the right side of centre-back. I think what he'll find with Brain Heredia, who's picking up the ball to take a throw-in, is he's quite pacey himself, and he is a very good 1v1 defender. So I think if he can try to find that space in between centre-back and full-back, I think that's going to be where he's really going to be at his most dangerous. Longer range throw, Coco gets a good first header on, but it looks like it's got out for a goal kick. Good defending from Havelock, and that's what we saw quite a first league. They weren't too concerned too much with the set pieces and the balls into the box. It dealt with them quite well. There's not a huge amount of height in that Wellington United front line, so winning those headers is all good.
And Havelock North don't lack in the physicality and the height side of things, so I'm sure, as long as it's not directly shootable, then they're probably not too bothered.
Again, playing the longer range of pass. It's a bit scrappy in the tight area there, but they've gone again. It's a great header at a tough angle from Heredia there to stop that getting through. It's the kind of ball that Via's dangerous with. This time it was just cut out and it's gone through to mid-peak. Deflected out, but Alatis will pick up. They've done well out of a tight spot here. They've given the ball away and Junker brings it away. And that's a heavy foul. Ralph just got beat, hung a leg.
Gonzalo?
Yeah,
Gonzalo Amado. I mean, we haven't actually talked about him, but he'll be underdone coming into this, and if he does get isolated and opportunities to potentially dribble at him, then yeah, that could be a problem for Wellington United. But on the other side of things, for the centre backs for Havelock, same issue. If you get isolated, you come out and there's space beyond you, you got to try and make a tackle.
Delivery in, but that's pretty easy for McPeak to take. I mean, just on a touch on setting a standard in this game. Again, that was a fairly heavy challenge that in a lot of games you would have been carded for, but Matt Congas decided to just keep it to a foul. It was, it was pretty early whistle and nice and clear. But again, it's kind of letting that physicality go, I think, in these early stages, which should make for a very interesting game.
Particularly if it's consistent.
Absolutely. No one likes to see a game full of cards. Wasn't reckless, mistimed.
It's a big occasion as well. So if we can avoid affecting it where we potentially don't have to, that'd be great.
McPeak picks it up, quick throw out into the wide areas. I thought McPeak's distribution in the last game was pretty good, especially second half when they went a little bit longer.
I've got to say, early on, I'm watching him clip the ball better than I've seen him do it for a long time. I mean, we've obviously both had a lot to do with him over the years, and he's a very experienced keeper who makes good decisions, but that hasn't always been the best part of his game.
Tees will drive the byline. Good feet again. That's what he gives you. And that's going to be dangerous to deal with over the course of 90 minutes. That easily could have been fouled in there for another set piece or get himself through.
Yeah, luckily for Wellington United, I don't think they'll be dealing with him for 90 minutes. He's underdone coming in. He's certainly not of the fitness level he would normally be at. And you can see him limping away from that challenge early on.
Another long throw into a dangerous area, but Plenderleaf is able to take that as there's no challenge on in front of him. He's looking long as well. So Skinner gets through, probably a little bit too easy if you Havelock North, just on the shoulder of his defender. Tried the audacious one really from 30 yards out to go back over the top of McPeak, although that has been done before.
Earning the name Mick Chippy.
But again, I guess when we look back at the 5 goals that Havelock conceded in that first league, 3 of them were kind of world-class strikes. So it's going to be difficult to kind of back that ability up week on week. So they might have to earn a few more of these chances today.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I wasn't sold on the bobble over the hand as we've talked about Sambo. I don't want to be rude to McPeak because he's a very good keeper. And you're right, 2 of those were worldies. The one that allegedly bounced over his hand.
Just gets a little skimmy defensive header on, which put it into a bit of danger, but able to hook clear. Another delivery into the box. I mean, Christensen's really is a target in there for those, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly is, and you can understand why. Physically, he looks up to it.
Here clips to try to find Coco, but gets cut out.
Oh, in the back.
And again, marshalling that back 4. It's a skipper group who win that first header.
Tactically, it's been a bit strange from Wellington United early on here.
Skipper Cam Stephen brings the ball down and rolls it back into an awkward space for Heredia, who's going to have to go back to the keeper. And again, it's not a good clearance. A little bit untidy, but does bring it under.
Lefty even.
Lefty for McPeak. Gets it forward and a good flick on, trying to find Christensen. And a little unsure defended clearance, but gives away another throw-in.
Yeah, watching the Wellington United skipper bring that ball down in midfield and Brian Heredia, the right back's already overlapping him. I'm not sure that's ideal early on.
Will find the byline, pulls it back to Ortiz. Obviously going to have to be careful around their feet with him. Well, I think he's kept his line fairly well there. Good defending. He's given the throw in, which Skinner takes quickly. Juka's got it. Rolls it back to Heredia. He's going to look for the delivery in. Yeah, there's just not a lot to hit there from the ball from deep from Brian. He's got one-on-one in there, and that's a tough ball to hit to be able to get on target from your next touch.
One fella in the box, 2 defenders, both of them fairly sizable.
Yeah,
not a lot of chance of much happening from there.
Havelock's comfortable there if that's the threat. Now the ball into the channel. More of what we're seeing. Yeah, got to be a foul there. Well left. No advantage from that, so we come back.
Bism loves a bit of a yarn with the referee, doesn't he? Wears his heart on his sleeve, Fizz. Always has, always will.
And we mentioned in the first league, I mean, Fizzum to be playing at this point of the season is a good achievement after suffering a pretty nasty arm break earlier in the season. So
he's always been a fantastic athlete with a huge engine. He's had his injuries over the years, but in terms of the recovery period and then getting back to a place where he can still run and have that engine is impressive. And he's no spring chicken anymore. He'd be 35 now.
Yeah. Deep delivery. Aiden and the keeper compete with each other, but Aiden gets it clear. Alatisa hold up. He hasn't got a lot of support in there.
He did just clip the back of him on him back there, but it was a funny looking thing, didn't it? Because he sort of forced the defender to do the double kick, go straight out.
As a defender, you're glad to take that free kick because it saves you the embarrassment of
I've just kicked it straight
everybody
out.
watching you kick it straight out.
Cheers, ref. Appreciate that, mate.
I'm going to delivery in. A couple of hands in the back and a little flicky head, but should be comfortably cleared.
So we're into the game now, Sambo, and you can sort of see what both sides are trying to do. Both are looking a little more direct than maybe the previous week, and obviously Havelock having a little more success early on. But changes for Wellington United in terms of the system, or where do things sit with you?
Yeah, I'm struggling to really get a clear picture of what they're trying to implement on this game. Havelock we can see. Havelock played a very narrow diamond formation in the first leg and have really come out wide to go high and wide early to get in behind them. And that's clear. I don't think Wellington United has got to a point where they're comfortably dealing with that to impose themselves on the game yet. They're just kind of playing on the counter-attack. That being said, it's how they got through their Capital Premier fixtures.
Yeah, I'll tell you what you haven't seen is you haven't seen them take opportunities to roll the ball to Leo and let him decide where the game's going to be played. And you'd expect that with someone like that in your lineup, as many times as you could find him as a defender, you let him turn on the ball and play into the areas that he thinks is right for the game with his experience and his ability.
Yeah, 20 minutes in, what you'd expect now is that the new centre-back pairing is kind of finding their feet. Another softball giving away here. Coco will pick it up. He's got the runner out wide. Skidder's made the run in behind, but it was probably a little bit delayed. A little bit delayed to get it there.
They look better with the ball on the ground, Wellington United, at the end of the day. When they're trying to clip balls forward or just get it into the area as quickly as they can, they're going to struggle.
Just got a bit of a delay as Fizz Aiden goes to go collect the ball from the bush.
There's no lack of people, but there's a lack of ball kids.
Ball
Good
gets cleared.
turnout, isn't it?
It's a great turnout. As we said, we're positioned right up on the deck with the diehards. So lovely place to be positioned. Oh, it's a soft corner.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm sitting here feeling like I've got to watch what I say. Because we're so close to them. They're going to hear me if I say something against their team. And, you know, it's fantastic, isn't it? I'm on edge.
Chella Sport has insurance, Scotty. We'll be fine.
Fantastic.
It's another set piece. We haven't seen Havelock trouble too much from these. It's a good delivery back stick and Group with a great header.
He's Group with a really important header because the 6 for Wellington United was open.
Mandelawi wins the ball back. Again, Groot is just being an absolute nuisance for Wellington United. They look to pivot out the other side now, trying to stretch this Havelock unit. Got to get the ball forward a little bit quicker. Aiden takes the direct option, but way too much on that.
Yeah, you can see Havelock defensively tuck their wide 2 in and leave that fella up top, Christensen, to track things down. You'd expect to see a bit more horseshoeing like that from Wellington United. It probably suits them and where the tie is at.
Yeah. And if you look at even coming forward right now, if you look at Alatisa's positioning and the ball on the other side where we've just received it, very narrow in that front 3. So it is opening the space for the fullbacks if they want to go, but it doesn't look like they're going to have that freedom to commit that far forward, even though there is space there.
And even though they got 2 guys in which that comes naturally to them, fantastic challenge there.
Christensen closes the ball down and through to Plenderleaf. The opportunity to roll it short to Heredia, but he's gone long, and that should bounce comfortably all the way through to McPeak.
I don't know about you, Sam, but I'm watching Gonzalo Amado, and if he gets through this game, could he have played last week?
Come on, find it.
Yeah, that is a good question. He's just a player with experience and a high level experience. So you think if he was fit, Gishi would have played him.
Yeah, 100%. Big game. Yeah, you're right. I mean, at the end of the day, if you were taking the side and he was fit, he'd be playing.
Yeah, you take the risk, League One, right? If you get through, but you get a good result there, you know, if they don't cough up the goals and they go through 5-0 in that first league, you're taking that every day.
Oh, come on, ref, great touch.
Hit the referee, but they maintain position, so he doesn't have to stop it, so they're going to roll on. Fizz Aiden, that's a great little crossfield ball if he can catch up with it. Junker's going to have some work to do.
It's unfortunately downhill for them.
It is, but he manages to keep it to a throw-in rather than a goal kick. So at least they can try to box them in.
Yeah, Wellington United, as we were just talking about, if they're going to allow their left and right back to get Wellington United's left and right back to get into the game, they do have two who can create for you in those areas.
Yeah, Alatis doesn't want to waste time taking that throw, and he'll drop it. Let Ralph pick that one up to get it back into play. Goes long off Christensen. Great little touch on. It was a great little touch round the back from the defender to win that ball back.
And talking to Great Holder earlier, Sambo, that's what we expected to see in the change up top and the change of system, I guess, and potentially what they were trying to do today.
Hicks tried to win the header, and a good flick on there too. And not a good clearance from Heredia. Alatis picks up and will strike. On that top corner at the back post, but just under it way too much, and it sails out for a comfortable goal kick.
You can see exactly what he was trying there, to cut in on the right side and bend that towards the far post, but he didn't get anywhere near getting the foot around the ball that you need to do to find the top corner there.
No, just comfortably up and over. And the left goes long. I don't think we've seen Wellington United go short yet today. Well, not too much that I can remember. Namato
We've
just
literally
goes long.
seen one horseshoe from them and then a clip ball at best.
Group will look for that little clip ball through. Nice little touch from Frooms. Probably the player that impressed me most in the Havelock shirt last week. Great little ball into Alatis and behind. Asking for an offside, but not getting it. I think he came back well.
Wow, he had the
McCurdy.
opportunity to slip that one on.
McCurdy could have gone wide. I mean, I think if you're in McCurdy's position, you try to strike that, but just side footer straight down the middle of the goalkeeper. Easy save.
For me, your first touch tells you what to do next, doesn't it? If you get stuck under your feet, move it on.
It's recycling out wide. This is who they need on the ball, is Leo Villa. Trying to get Coco in behind, but it's easily covered. I think we need to see a little bit more speed out of Wellington United. What you've got, from what we've seen over the first league and a half, is a very strong back four, and with Groot in front, it's a ball-playing centre-back, really, in front of your two centre-backs. So you're going to have to do well to thread a pass in there to cause some problems, especially in what we've seen in this first 30 minutes, almost 30 minutes. And really, if we're being honest, I mean, I think it's going to be a big half-time from Geshe here. Like, he still holds the lead in the tie by 5-4, but they're certainly on the back foot up here in the sunny Havelock North.
The early goal spelt trouble, though, didn't it? Because they're literally one good strike away from taking the tie away from them now, because obviously, by getting some goals away, in the event that we're tied on, we could talk through this during the half-time, but in the event we are tied, on the aggregate score there, the away goals become important.
It's a set piece from deep. Again, I mean, if he is hanging this up, it's going to have to be an accurate ball. Just driven that in. Good header clear. And he'll commit the foul on the back of it.
You got to love that wee piggyback out of there from Leo. Havelock will be completely fine with that. Defend, slow the game down, get going again, get the ball into the areas. A free opportunity to get the ball forward towards their wee danger weapon and get the pieces going.
Allows the ball to travel. That's a good little clip out wide. They're very accurate with that today, Havelock. Accuracy was something they really struggled with it in Wellington, and he'll come back from an offside position. Ball's gone through. It's cleared off the line. I thought he'd come back from an offside position. I was waiting for the flag to go up. Never arrived. Christensen nearly put them two up.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether that was just a timing thing and maybe it worked out in his favour, but it certainly looked like he was coming back from an offside position and maybe he got back just in time there.
Real scare for Wellington United there.
I'd like to see Jarvis really, plough into the box there and hope that a ball comes back across or it gets saved off the line like that and you're the guy there ready to pounce. Probably not something you're going to see from a youngster, but something you could probably take away, I guess.
Junker with a flick on, but again, it's a little bit messy for Wellington United. A throw in at your head, you can only really flick on if there's no one there. It's just going to get turned over, which it does. Alatis has got it at his feet. Froomes has made the move ahead of him. He's cut inside, and he's gone for a little dink ball, which isn't too far away from linking up with Perks. Got it again, and they win the throw-in.
He's got good composed feet, this Jarvis, doesn't he? He invites contact. He doesn't mind contact. As much as he's limping around, he doesn't mind a bit of contact.
And what he does is he draws two defenders in at a time. So if he can find a bit of space to get the ball out, there's going to be an overload somewhere on the park that they can take advantage of. He could just never get the ball down there to go back to McPeak and give him an easy clearance.
Sloppy from Havelock there. Really don't need to invite pressure from set piece. With the opportunities to clear, you've got to take those. You can't really give second opportunities up because eventually one of them's going to cost you.
Yeah, especially in a tie like this with how it's positioned, you've got yourself back within a goal of progression. But if you cough one up, you've got to go find two immediately, and it just makes life difficult.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that, eh? We've talked about how they can get back into the game, but, if they are over-expensive or they do get a little bit sloppy and they concede one, again, it changes the tide dramatically for them to have to go and get it, and that's not going to work in their favour. So
the corner taken short. Coco's able to get a half turn on there. Probably need a little bit more pressure on the ball than that.
Yeah, again, you'd think that they'd just go out there and invite them to whip it in, being the bigger side and dealing with those comfy.
Yeah, luckily for Havelock, he got it on the half turn, but the cross was just driven just too high and out for a throw on the other side. But again, it's a chance for Wellington United to try to box in here and just make it difficult to get out. Give them another cheap 10 yards on a throw-in though. Another long loopy throw-in, which you love to receive as a attacking player. I guess if we look at the players set up as we are right now, you've got Fizz, the left back, coming to take the ball here. Brian's really just keeping an eye on his marker. He's not really getting forward. There's a huge amount of spaces if they wanted to get the ball into a position to switch it.
Well, to be fair, Fism's probably got the better delivery out of the two of them. So somebody is going to stay home, and he's got a massive engine. Not that Brian doesn't, but if someone is going to get forward and offer something from delivery perspective, it's probably is going to be Fism.
Yeah, I just think when you look at the two venues, Newtown's probably a bit bigger of a pitch. Guthrie can sometimes feel a little small as a visiting side, so you have to maximise the space on the park. And if you're attacking down one side, it just holds the ball up and it just makes it very tight, and you just feel like you're constantly under pressure and the game's overly aggressive. If you can get the ball forward on the pivot and get it switched, you could just make the field feel bigger. Open the play and open some gates to be able to get those passes through. So at the moment, it's just very narrow, and Havelock's got everything covered fairly comfortably.
Yeah, 100% right. It can feel a little bit narrow here. It's definitely different to Newtown Park. And it lends itself to that sort of style that Havelock are looking to do here, where they get the ball, they roll it short the first time, but then the very next player's looking to play long and down the middle.
Once United long again, group, another one header. Another challenge on Junker by Froomes. And again, just physical. McCurdy comes over to finish the job. Just a very physical approach. Working well, turning over ball. McCurdy, nice and strong, sees it out for a goal kick. It goes short. And there's a stoppage in play. Player's gone down. Coco Heredia.
The Havelock fans are going to love this. On cue, a call for the tissues.
So I guess while we're taking a short break for the injury, I just urge you, if you're on YouTube now, to subscribe to the channel. The Cello Sport Futsal Series is starting in Wellington at the ASB Centre at midday tomorrow for the first game. So all games will be streamed live out of there. So interesting concept with the new draft league where all eligible futsal players registered and coaches selected them kind of American draft style to even the play numbers and play quality. So it should be a really, really even competition. So looking forward to seeing that get underway.
What a fantastic initiative.
Peaky gets us going. Coco looks fine. I think the Havelock fans up on the balcony can keep their tissues. Player won't need them. It's a good ball. Alatis keeps it in from a Heredia flick on. Delivery to the back post. Aiden with a good header. It's a simple challenge. Doesn't want to give away a foul. Gets good body position. He's gone down asking for one, but no one
Didn't even convince the Havelock fans there, did he?
No one in Guthrie Park was convinced of that.
No. Jarvis not known to be that accurate with the lefty. That's a great delivery from him from this side. Scrappy aerial ping pong.
Very.
Fantastic for the
Right, would
Havelock.
flick on again. Good delivery to the back post. Just a little bit too far. Just evades Perk slightly at the back post, but another good opening. And Junker will go backwards. Heredia's got it. Not a lot of pressure here. Long throwing into Frooms. Little dink over the top.
He's
Defender's
offside.
asking for a flag, and they've got it.
Yeah, it looked like his body just started from just the wrong side of the centre back there. It's smart from Gonzo. He stepped up nicely. Got the timing right. Linesman was right in line.
Yeah, the ball wasn't a bad idea. I just questioned how aerial that needed to be.
Yeah, agreed.
There seemed to be a decent channel there to be able to hit feet and get him on the turn. Clean to left goes long again, and another free header won by Havelock. Perks just can't get it under control and away from the challenge.
I'm not sure the Wellington United team want to see this turn into a scrappy affair where we see a lot of that ping pong, aerial ping pong sort of stuff, because you get the feeling it's going to drop to the wrong player at some stage.
Yeah. They get the ball in behind here.
He looks to
And
get
they
to
get
the,
a corner.
the byline. Every time he gets the ball, he loves to try and get to the byline.
Yeah, Jesse King, he's looking dangerous out on that side.
Score a cutback last week. I'm not sure whether that had anything to do with him off the top of my head.
Oh, sorry, I think that was Mandelawi getting in there out of midfield into that wide area. Wonderful goal last week. But again, I guess you're asking a lot if one of your holding midfielders alongside Leo is trying to do that work in behind. Be over the longer ball and the header out. But Pete will try to get the ball going quickly. No. Thought about it. Now we go short.
You could say there might be a bit of this where it'd be one pass and then long, but that's not what they want to be doing.
No. Soft giveaway there from Barkley. Yeah, with quick feet back into Junker, back to Via. Little dink over the top. And Akers, side netting.
He got back well. It's an important touch.
He did.
I think it's a touch more from the centre back than the goalkeeper there that's been given.
Yeah, and then Kong had a question mark around whether he was offside or not. Check with his line out. Yeah, hangs it back post again. First decent amount of contact on there.
Oh, he's not moving.
Yeah, he looks like he's feeling that.
It was always going to be a huge risk to send Gonzalo Amado forward for corners like that, knowing that potentially he's going to have to track back quickly and put pressure on the body, and he doesn't seem to be responding well to that one there.
No, and let's be honest, at this point of the tie, what's more important is the defensive responsibility and not conceding a second, as opposed to trying to score one. You've got enough firepower on the side to score a goal. We saw that last week.
And you're ahead.
So, hey, great little ball over the top to Christensen. Will pick this up. He's taking it a little bit wider. We'll try to get himself a corner or something out of here if he can't beat his man. Herodier gets it away at the near post. Christensen picking up in the deeper area. That's a good idea to rotate out.
Good ball.
Christensen will put this up with a bit of space. The defenders have got to get up to close the space.
Give it a whistle.
He's got to get something here. Drives his man easily down the post, down the byline.
Come on, referee.
Calls for handball. That probably would have been harsher than the first one that was given and overturned. But don't ask, don't get.
That's part of the hometown advantage, isn't it?
Another long throw in.
They're not dealing with these as well as you'd expect for the two centre-backs. I mean, we have talked about how the physical presence they've put into the starting lineup this week for Havelock, but you'd still expect the centre-backs to deal with that more often than not. But they seem to have both of them in the right place at the right time, but still not really dealing with it the way you'd expect from them yet.
Yeah. I mean, Amado, he got that header clear, but again, when he landed, he doesn't look that comfortable. Well, cut out at the back. Easy header from Fizzum. That's really going to be the one to watch when the players come back out for the second half. Whether Amado's part of that group or not.
Well, I think there's more to watch for than just him, but you're right. It'll be interesting to see how he gets through it. Like I say, I fully expect that Jarvis probably won't play the 90 minutes out here, being a little bit underdone as well. It'll be interesting to see, looking at the lineups there, whether the great holder finds a place to put himself on.
Yeah, well, if you're looking for a player with experience to affect a game late, he could be the guy. Skinner gets on the side of the box, looks to roll it back, but there's just no commitment there. The thing that might give LT more minutes in the legs out here is the fact that the way Havelock is setting up, they're really just giving the freedom of the front part of the field to their front three, and they're not really asking a huge amount in terms of backtracking fullbacks. Long ball, find LTs, skips inside, strike's deflected.
He got into the right area just like he wanted to. Got inside on his right foot, set up that same strike he looked for earlier. Looked to get a decent one away, but a good block by Wellington United.
Yeah, so to my point, he's not being asked to come back and track Brian, and Brian's Herodier's not really getting forward either. So it might mean that he's just got that ability just to affect the game in the attacking sense, and it might give him a bit longer. Overdone. Got to be more accurate with that ball. Barkley steps through with the header, but gives the ball away.
They're fantastic on the first up challenge, Havelock in the back four, but that accuracy on the next pass.
Yeah, and I think in a game like this, sometimes it's that pent-up energy and aggression that you see a ball you can challenge, and you really challenge the ball as opposed to getting there half a second early and being able to roll a ball. Oh. Comfortably out for a goal kick. Oh, here's Pete Linney. Gets to play with his time added on board. See how long's left? Just a single minute.
Just a single. Come on, Pete.
It's a single minute added on at the end of the first half. Who's happier for the break here, Scotty?
Yeah, Yeah, but there was a little stoppage for some attention down there.
I mean, from
a couple of those.
I mean, from the coaching staff perspective, who's going to be happier to get it to the break?
Well, I think there's an awkward. We're in that awkward period of, there's going to be some tension, directly after half time. They're both going to be happy to get in now as it is, but Great Holder's going to be happier with the way that the game's shaping up, because if he's feeling anything like we are, they're in position to strike. One thing goes their way here and they completely take the tie over. And so I think that's what he would have wanted for out of the first half, and that's what he's got.
Christian Singh I won't say got hit late, got there at the same time. He just tried to get the ball on the turn and it was just too strong from the defenders.
Yeah, it's a good use of body.
Back to Leo. Just go short to Aiden. And it's half time.
So you get a little bit of the sense from that reaction from the people around the ground there that they're clapping their team off after that half. They've got something out of that first half of football that makes the tie, gives them more options within the tie. And I think that reaction gives us a little bit of an answer to what we're looking for as to who's going to be the happier.
Well, I think that the Havelock North local up here has watched their side go through a 16-game season, only conceding 16 goals, and then it would have been a massive surprise for them to go away from home in League One and concede 5. So they'd just be wondering what's going on. What's this Wellington side got? Is there a lot to fear to bring them back home, and are they going to see a repeat? And I think what we've seen in that first half is that tie was a lot tighter than the score gave it credit for.
Even the officials getting clapped off.
So I've been around football for a while, and I have not seen the officials get such a reception leaving the park as what we've seen today, especially Pete Linney.
Especially Pistol Pete. No, I'm just having you on, Pete. You're a fantastic official, mate.
So I'd love to be in the changing rooms at half time to hear the messaging. I mean, I think what Chris Greatholder talked about before the game and midweek with his players was all about getting forward and getting into those wide areas and really playing with a pretty narrow front three to try to be able to get the ball forward and build from up top and get their skillful players like Tomek into the game more and being able to create goals. And I think what we've seen across the first 45 minutes is that they were absolutely at that level, and they've really turned that around and are causing Wellington United massive problems. Wellington United, I mean, I guess we can talk about them in a second, but they're just not providing the same sort of threat.
Yeah, well, to your point on Havelock, it was pretty clear watching the footage and the coverage from last week that they were a frustrated side. At this time of the game last week, it's no secret they had their issues at half-time on the back of some frustration, particularly out of their attack. They probably expected a bit more, but the changes they made from that minute on added some energy to that end of the tie, which gave them the opportunity today. And I think for me, what we've seen out of today from Havelock early on is probably what we expected to see early on last week. And whilst it's probably now a little bit disappointing to know that, hey, if they do approach the game in a way in which maybe isn't as positive in possession of the ball, but it's effective. And when you get to this stage where you're both fighting out for that one spot in the league, then it is about what's effective, and it isn't about potentially what looks the best or what even feels the best for the players. It's about getting a result, and for me, that in the first half of what we've seen today, that's been the biggest change.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I think we spoke briefly before the first game last week around the time in between fixtures for Havelock North. They had probably a 5-week period between finishing their season and going into the first playoff game. And talking to Chris before the game, they're missing up to 5 players that have been regulars through that season, and they've relied heavily on the influence of the reserves and the youth team players coming through. So it was probably a massive wake-up in Wellington around what level they need to get to be able to get through this playoff. And I think they've learned a lot in a week, and what they've turned around is a huge improvement to the point where they're really bossing this game.
Yeah, and in that conversation with Greatholder, one thing that I took away from it, Sambo, was if you use that many players in a season and you get through it, you win it, and you get to here, You've got potentially around 5 players missing, and we'll talk about Wellington United and their struggles as well. But if you have Havelock North and you get through this, then it speaks to the fact that maybe it's more sustainable than in previous years, because you've had it about as bad as you can get it injury-wise. You've got to the pointy end of the season, the crucial part, maybe not the team that you wanted to be, and if you still get through, then it's definitely sustainable moving forward.
Just a quick note, if you're still tuned in, the Cello Sport truck will be heading on its way back up to Napier in a few weeks' time, and we will be broadcasting out the Napier Under-19 tournament. I know it's going to be a bit restricted with numbers with COVID levels and a bit of a rejig draw, but we will be getting a couple of live pitches up and running at Park Island, so we will be streaming out as many games as we can possibly get during that week. So again, make sure you subscribe through and don't miss any of those games as they pop up. We'll get the links out well in advance and get prepped to really bring what is an awesome football tournament always to end the football calendar for youth football in particular.
And you were out there today, Chris, earlier today, and how did it look, mate?
I was out here today and it looked an absolute picture. Absolute picture. Still looked big, so I still wouldn't want to play on it.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy getting out in the middle of it either. Physically it was a challenge, but when you arrive to that ground, it's a football ground. It
is an absolute football ground. I mean, obviously we've got to be careful about how much we talk about it, considering where we're positioned right now.
But in terms of getting excited for that tournament, you're going to go to a beautiful place, and with the COVID restrictions, there's going to be no better time to potentially get online if you can't get to the game and watch it, because the coverage now is better than we've ever had. When have we ever had that ability? Particularly being from Wellington, if I can't get up to watch my team, and I know that they're going to be able to be seen on one of the 2 pitches that have been streamed, I'm logging in for that.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to get youth football out to the guys who can't be there. Even the teams in Auckland who unfortunately are going to have to miss out just purely down to restrictions and border levels. At least they'll be able to dial in and be able to have a look at the other teams that are going around and how those teams are faring. So it should be a great weekend. Really looking forward to getting up there. But just lots coming through the channel with obviously Napier and then the futsal series starting tomorrow. So lots of good times.
That looks exciting. I mean, I touched on it briefly, Sambo. It's a great initiative, but it's different. It's something different, that little futsal series. And I love when sports, regardless of what the sport is, try and change things up for people to have a look at something different and to encourage an element of competition that maybe isn't there all the time. And this is one of those initiatives that, if done properly, is going to be exciting.
Couldn't agree more. The other big news obviously coming out of Cello Land today is the parent company of Cello Sport is obviously taking up the naming rights sponsor at the Basin Reserve. So a lot of feedback, most of it positive. Some of the some concerns around just the historic nature of the ground, but you couldn't take a sponsoring group who love sport as much as the Cello group. So absolutely respectful of that venue, and we're so looking forward to really modernising that venue to be able to be right up there for fan experience and logos and getting all the Wi-Fi and just everything around the match day experience that the Basin Reserve is going to be cranking on through. So happy to be part of that group, and
exciting times.
Exciting times, mate.
So Sambo, Wellington United, let's just quickly touch on them before the teams come back out. Obviously last week's tie, at the end of the day, you can talk about the way that they played in wide areas, what style, what formation, but they scored 5 goals.
Yeah, they scored 5 goals, and they got those goals through getting the ball forward, getting the ball in behind, and looking to get the ball cut back. Havelock lacked a little bit of pressure on the ball that they've kind of turned around today. And if you could have seen from, I think Mandelawi's goal in particular, he was allowed 10 yards to carry, and sometimes you allow people to strike from 20, 25 yards, but it hurt them last Saturday because the ball just hit the back of the net. But what we've seen from Havelock today is they're getting that little bit more pressure on the ball. So they're going to have to open the game out, Wellington United. They're going to have to try to make the space as big as they can to start creating some goal-scoring chances, because the longer they sit here and wait, and the longer they sit back and try to not concede again, it's going to be the one where you can see where it's too late. You concede an injury time again, and it's too late to do anything about it. So they have to take the positive approach now into the second half and try to impose themselves on the game, because really, if we think back through that first half, there wasn't a lot of chances that they created. There was a few set pieces that they got ahead to that went over the bar. I think at one strike, the Peaky saved down the middle, but there hasn't been a lot of kind of clear-cut chances or even half chances.
Yeah, do you think the 18-game season, I mean, we haven't really touched on that, but interestingly today, the bookings from the season coming into play, putting further pressure on the two squads. I mean, rather evenly, both squads have got a player out due to their fifth suspension, but that 2 extra games of an 18-game season that Wellington United play as opposed to a 16-game season that Havelock play, I mean, we talked about the body and what it goes through, but also just from a bookings perspective, the percentages just increased through 2 games.
Yeah, and I don't like the fact that the cards carry over. I'm okay with the suspension carrying over if you've picked it up in the last game of the season, but you know, this is the premier event to try to get ourselves into Central League, and the best players should be playing, and I don't think that those cards that carry over, you know, 5 and 18 games isn't a huge amount. Certainly not for certain players.
Or certain staff.
Yeah, so that's a little bit disappointing. But something both going to have to deal with. Again, it was a COVID impacted season. I think there was a few weeks in between games, so you can take that one of two ways. You can use it as a recovery time and try to get bodies right, but it can also just hamper your progress in terms of just momentum. And I think Wellington United had a few kind of dodgy results where they looked like they were coasting to that spot to come into the playoff, and a couple of little wobbly results made it tense. And you know, finishing the season at Upper Hutt, which is never an easy place to go under Fozzie, trying to get a result there, which they did and did comfortably to bring them into the playoffs. But I just haven't seen the team in League 2 that I've seen in League 1. And that's going to have to be a worry for Gishi trying to turn this around into the second half.
Yeah, I think they made the best of their home ground advantage. We talked about the pitch being bigger, the service probably being better, and the way that they use the ball and even just aggressively in and around the area to get those strikes away. That, you know, down to the smallest detail of the fact that you're going to get a better strike away at Newtown Park. And so maybe the percentages of a worldie or two increase there, but what they haven't probably done well is make those changes through to today's fixture, where Havelock have been impressive in the physical contact without overdoing it for the most part. And Wellington United haven't really changed things up to combat that. And if they don't, if they're feeling anything like we're feeling, they're leaving it up to, if a worldie goes in for Havelock, or there's a mistake at the back or with the goalkeeper, the tie's gone in the complete opposite direction. And I'm sure they're feeling as uneasy as we're feeling. And it'll be interesting to see the way that they approach this first 10 minutes to potentially change and get out of that pattern.
Yeah, so for people watching who don't quite understand the aggregate system in football, if the game finishes level at 5-5, Havelock will progress because they scored more away goals. So if it finishes 5-5, which will mean Havelock win today 2-0, it will finish 5-5, but because they scored 3 at Newtown Park, that'll be enough to progress. So the most interesting thing that could happen in this match early in the second half is that Havelock score again, and it makes it 5-5, and it really puts the onus on them as to whether they try to press home an advantage in the game that they're already leading, or whether they sit back and try to protect what they've got. And that could be the most interesting outcome of what we see at the start of the second half. But the players are back out.
And here we go.
Ref's got us ready to go, and Wellington United will get us restarted. Huge 45 minutes ahead at Guthrie Park to see who will join the Central League clubs in 2022. This is where you want Via picking up the ball in a nice little channel. It's going to drop it back to Stefan. Heradia forward. It's the furthest we've seen Heradia get forward. And Skipper with a big challenge.
Jeez, that's commitment.
It's to be won.
If he gets that timing wrong, though, that's trouble. That's what we expected to see from Gonzo there. Touch, ball down, bang, out wide. And they made more passes accurately in this first opening exchange than they did for a long part of the first half.
They have. Good first 45 seconds. Again, a soft corner given away from Havelock there. Ball into the box, easily cleared, but he's just sliced it.
And I hate to say it, I hate to harp on about it, but here comes Gonzalo Amaro forward. And they've gone short. He'll be hoping this gets
with
in.
A setback.
Oh no, now he's going to have to run all the way back again without even affecting play.
Nice little link-up play to get out here. Christensen resets it. We'll be looking for Tomic again. Reams just can't quite get it under his feet. Pass is a little bit behind him, to be fair. This should be a goal kick if it goes.
Yeah, we've seen
It
more
does.
commitment in the first 50 seconds of play from Wellington United.
Yeah, very promising start.
They made their first up tackles there, which they just weren't doing in the first half. They lost the physical battle. One pass is where it's going to go longer from them, Sambo.
Yeah, that decision making on that first one, that's the one where you've got to be really clear on. You roll it short, can you play it forward, or do you need to set it back to go long?
Yeah.
And if you get that decision right, you're
Yeah.
doing pretty well.
And to be fair, the left back was wide open there. So you roll it to him, he's got plenty of time to get his head up and play the next pass forward.
Havelock progressing nicely up the left. Trying to find Frooms, and he does. Gets out to Alatis. One-on-one with Aiden, so he swaps sides.
Yeah, he does like to do that because you noticed on this when he started on the left-hand side in the first half, he was constantly coming inwards on his right. So he does have the ability to go the outside on this side and get delivery into the box.
Yep. Jonker to Mandalawi and gets it back. That's a fairly average challenge from Groot.
Booking. It's a bit tough.
Frooms gets the booking.
Yeah, I feel like there was a wee combination booking there for maybe a couple.
Yeah, I feel that he's just merged those two challenges together to create a booking on the second one, just to try to keep the game in check. There's been worse challenges than that today that haven't been carded.
That was a certain calm the game down booking.
Yeah.
Booking winner. I'll be honest, I don't like that because if that comes back to hurt him in the rest of this game, then you'd look back on that and think, oh, that was light for a booking, especially through what we've seen and the precedent being set early in the game.
Bender just bends it away to the back post. Then he comes across, but there's no second player in there. Drops to Junker though.
Oh, wow.
Junker with a wonderful strike there.
You're kidding.
We talked about protecting from the worldie.
Wow, an absolute beautiful strike. I didn't see that coming, Sambo, I got to be honest. Those balls have been whipped in many a time, and what we see is the ball go in another time, not dealt with to the edge of the area, not cleared wide, and a fantastic strike past McBeak.
Yeah. And I think your point there is spot on. Well, Christensen tries the acrobatic, and then Groot knocks it long. Yeah, I think your point was right. I think if Greyholder and Havelock and the fans watch that back, the biggest issue with that goal isn't the strike that he gets it away and he's in a bit of space, but the fact that they had the opportunity to clear that first time. It was a loop. It was a long ball that kind of arced out towards the back post, and the header back across had three Havelock defenders and no one from Wellington United.
Yeah.
But the header was weak to the edge of the box, and then Jonker just did what he did, and he's just hit a superb volley into the back of the net.
Yeah, I've seen Gonzalo forward many a times, as we spoke about, and that's the first one that they've actually landed towards him, and he's got it back across the box into no man's land where it's been cleared poorly, you'd have to say, to the middle of the edge of the area, which, you talk about through the week of training, that those are the small things that you've got to get right, particularly, in a tie as important as this one.
So Coco picks it up on the way back. It's going to be an interesting period now of settling, and Havelock don't want to get too carried away with trying to get that goal back immediately. But obviously they need to get them back in the second half, but they can't concede again.
Yeah, it really changes the tie, that goal, and that they're back to chasing two. When you're chasing one, you can hold out longer if it's not coming, but two.
Back to Groot.
Two, you got to get a move on, don't you? You know, you can't allow the game to travel as long without potentially making a change, whether it's to the system or whether he goes to the bench. I think that goal potentially brings forward a change by Greatholder.
Yeah. Yeah, lots to think about. A Greatholder now.
And I'll ask the question again, Sambo, is he prepared to use himself?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. If you were a separate coach with him on your bench, you would put him in.
Yeah, because he carries the ability to make a pass for somebody else to score as well, you know. He'll be involved in something that brings a goal.
I think what he'll do, if he brings himself on, it'll be the kind of change that will be the last of them, whatever time is left. So there is no more to be affected from the sideline.
Yeah, no, I tell you what, you're already
just a big
seeing
push.
is that they just don't look as composed in possession as they have to start the game. That goal's really rattled what they're trying to do with the ball. You know, it's like they've sped up to the point of being inaccurate, and this is better from McPeak to take his time to find that area. Great header by Fizzin.
Junker brings us out again. But just turns it over. Maney with the win. Tries to clip the line. If doing well to keep this in, but does. Good defending from Mardo. And Delawi picks it up to find Coco and gets it back. The ball's just too far ahead of him.
He's great in those 1v1 defending Gonzalo Amado. He's fantastic going backwards and just delay tactic.
There's some hooks clear. Another scuffle in midfield. Starting to see Wellington United winning these 50-50s now.
Oh no, that doesn't look good, eh? Bit of a roll.
And he seems to be
Get up all right.
maybe he's making the most of it a little bit. Yeah, he's okay.
Surely he is if he takes this free kick.
Wellington United really stepped up the aggression. Just beyond Christensen, drops to Perks, takes it nicely on the turn.
So I guess you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out the words that would have been spoken at half-time for Wellington United, because it's clear that they've come out to physically assert themselves and at least win that part of the battle, or get on terms with Havelock from that perspective and make sure that that's not going to be the way that the game's decided.
Yeah, just accepting that you're in an arm wrestle.
Yeah, in Havelock, away, which was always going to be the case.
It doesn't quite get to halfway, but they get a good flick on. Alatis gets a good touch. Christensen will pick it up. Oh, and he nearly finds him back through. I don't know whether he always meant to leave that or whether he just came out and realised he wasn't going to get there, but safely left.
Definitely the latter. Sambo came out. Oh, not going to get to that one. I'll pretend I'm shadowing that out. Safe in the end.
I like to give keepers credit where I can.
Not me.
Overcommitting from Havelock into that longer clearance. Lets Junker run free. Groot does another good job cleaning up. Christensen hasn't got himself back on side, so he can't chase that.
It's been a big day so far from him. You can't really hold it against him there. You know, he's going to have to take those opportunities to almost walk back on side and recharge the batteries if he's going to continually get into the physical battle.
Frooms has to do the long jog just to pick the ball up, or make the goalkeeper pick the ball up. So he's not going to be in any rush. Great strike. Peaky holds well. Vio does a good job screening the pass through from deep. Christensen wanting a free kick, having a quick chat to the referee about it. Conga's not really interested. Mainly will get us started. Frooms with a delicate touch, but just gets away from everyone. This will get clear. Nice little touch around the corner from Christensen after a period of a little bit of scrappy passing, and
He's jumped into that one with all his force.
the skipper gets it clear.
There's been a couple of full challenges that have been lucky that, they've been close to the ball at least. All the timing's been just good enough.
Yeah, the physical intensity is set right up. And what you're seeing now from a defensive setup, especially when they put it in Havelock's back four, it's just a strong back four with Leo Vea right on top of it. If they continue that setup, Havelock's going to have to figure out how to find a way to play in front of them.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, like you say, Chris, you're alluding to the fact that it's just completely, the tides has changed and the goal has been responsible for that. And if they don't find a way to play in front of them and mix it up a bit, then Wellington United won't have to come out. And if they don't have to come out, there will be no space behind for them to try and get.
Yeah, and what we're seeing out of the back at Havelock now is kind of a repeat of what we saw in the first half at Newtown, and that is a couple of passes at the back, but then the ball out is really inaccurate, and they're giving away the ball inside their own half with a longer range of pass, which is just so dangerous for a counter-attack scenario.
Yeah, you don't get those right, and your whole entire team goes from going forward to having to U-turn around as quickly as they can and head back towards their own goal. And that transitional period, that'll give up a chance in this game. To which team, I'm not entirely sure yet, but that could really have an effect on the rest of the game.
Trying to work their way out of that back corner. Coco would do it with a pass backwards to his brother. Vea takes it away and tries to dink it into the corner, but no one makes that run.
Yeah, but you can understand why not. Potentially they're in that manage the game out period and expend the amount of energy you really have to, and don't the bits that you maybe don't. Pick and choose, I guess, where you exert energy now for Wellington United.
So Havelock, another long throw in into Christensen. They are doubling up on Christensen. He is having a rough day in the last half an hour.
Yeah, I love the way he's continuing to put himself about. He's really battling for them up there, and in the first half to a lot more success. And you get the feeling while he was fresher, it was probably a big part of being a bit more effective. As the game goes on and he's having to do more and more, it's looking more and more difficult.
Yeah, he's still able to get a few flick-ons though in the 2v1 scenario, which is great for his mates.
Yeah, 100%.
He'll be sore tomorrow though.
And it's about how they support that ball that gets forward to him,
So Manny's got room to travel. He's having a look up. He'll just dink it. Again, he's looking for Christensen, but again, double team to get the ball out. Fizzin with a good turn. Probably drew some contact, but he's not going to get it. And he kicks the ball away. The Havelock fans do not like Fizzer Maiden.
Yeah, fair enough.
One booking was half. One,
Free kick on the edge. This is a good area.
Interestingly, Sambo, I can't see anybody warming up yet for Havelock. They're all still sat. They're all still... No one's clearly been given any directive to be ready yet. So that's interesting. Great Holder looks to be backing the group that's out there.
Yep.
And maybe, giving them a bit more time to change this game.
Yeah, Wellington United have a few warming up in behind the goal. So it'll be interesting to see those who kind of came through injury clouds who were past fit. You know, there was the skipper limped off at the end of the game. He looked very sore. Heredia came off sore. Free kick hits the bottom of the wall, and Alatis was trying to get there to get something really. That's a soft one in there. I think it's a foul.
Yeah,
it was a needless challenge, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an obvious foul, but he clips the foot before he gets the ball, you know, and at the end of the day, he doesn't win the ball unless he clips a little bit of foot there, so I'm happy with that.
So Wellington United definitely had a couple of injury clouds. Geshe was very clear that they were all healthy and good to go, but it will be interesting to see the longevity in some of those bodies. Good delivery. Man's gone down, but nothing given, and it's just gone straight out for a goal kick.
Albertini as well for Havelock, you know, obviously started last week, come off under a little bit of maybe an injury concern, but fit enough to be in the squad today, so, you know, my understanding is that he does have the ability to play higher up the field than he started last week as well, so potentially that might be something they're considering, and here they go now with theirs starting to get moving.
Bizem will take about a minute to throw this. Oh no, he's going quickly, good boy. Gets the ball in and they'll turn it over. Good turn from Koko Heredia, but just runs himself into trouble. Groot wins another challenge today. So effective breaking up that play. Brooms can't quite get away, but does win himself another throw-in.
Wellington United midfield's been fantastic to start the second half, haven't they? Leo's gone a lot deeper to protect the back four and provide that double up sort of screen approach to their centre forward, which has really helped.
Soft again. I think what we're seeing is this game means so much to both of these clubs. Wellington United were essentially a club under that Phoenix banner and then lost it and then went down trying to hold a squad together. And it went down without picking up a win. And then they bounced back faster than I'd expect them to be able to bounce back and build a side capable of getting back to promotion. So it means a lot for them to be there because the women's team are one of the best in the country. And so what we're seeing is the goals are changing this game massively in terms of attitude and just confidence levels. You know, Havelock score early and it's running so high and they're just dominating, and then we've seen Wellington United come out, score early, and then the game's just flipped on its head.
Yeah, and I was one who was fairly critical of Wellington United during that period with the Phoenix and the way that they collapsed on the back of it, but you also have to eat your words a little bit and be impressed by the way that they have brought in Guillermo to the male side and bounced back really, really well.
Look on from Christensen!
Oh, that's incredibly close to the bar there.
I thought that was sneaking in at that far post.
Well, that's the sort of chance that you know potentially is going to come from his physicality up there and from the balls forward that into an area where he can create something for you, whether it's a drop down for someone else or whether it's something that he works towards goal. Change here for Wellington United, Chris.
That's right, and so we're seeing Win Skinner be the player that would depart, and he is being replaced by Jesse Kang.
Yeah, a little bit of energy now coming into those wider areas, potentially a signal that maybe they're going to look to get those balls in beyond and see the game out that way with people fresh energy to chase it down and put some pressure on Havelock playing out from deeper areas.
Again, they're still setting up for that goal kick like he's going to clear it, like clear halfway. And we've seen every goal kick from that side not be able to reach it, and it's been a stretch for Havelock to get there. I think they need to set up that first line of challenge a little bit higher. United get into the corner. It's turnover again. I think it's Groot again in there. Comes from Fermat Peak. Looks to go quickly. The ops against fighting Alatis. Goes long off Christensen. He's done well again. Finds Frooms. It's got to be another penalty.
That's another penalty. And just what they needed off the back of a very good strike from McPeak Ford. Found the big man up top, and didn't he do well again to just get the ball around the corner, in behind the defence. A very well travelling Froome and a penalty.
It's a penalty. Unbelievable hold-up play from Christensen to then roll it into Froome, who just had a little stutter to get through, and Ada makes contact. It is a penalty. He's remonstrating quite severely. He's picked up a yellow, and he'll be doing well just to keep it a little bit quiet before he gets that too, because Conga won't put up with too much of that.
Yeah, and I can understand Aiden's frustration, but it was certainly a penalty. He certainly clips the back of him, and he does gives a penalty kick away there. It's unfortunate.
Watching it live, you had to give it.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's the right decision.
And the tie needs it, Sambo. The tie needs it. If he bangs this and watch this place erupt.
The initial effort was tame, to say the least. It gets saved, but he follows it up. And it could be the worst possible outcome for Wellington United, because your keeper's made the first save. He's then gone down to make the second save and got injured as it goes in.
An interesting penalty, to say the least, Sambo. He trotted up expecting the keeper to potentially move early. He didn't. He saves it. He trots into the rebound casually and buries it whilst collecting the keeper.
I feel I can say this because we've talked very highly of him throughout the match. On a scale of best to worst penalties, that ranks somewhere near the bottom.
Well, I hate to relate it to the period of the game or the amount of work he's got through, but it looked laboured. But hey, they won't care.
Hey, back in the net, they've got the lead back, and they're back within one of the Central League.
That's it. And the game is right back to that knife's edge where it was for Havelock.
So Kang brings the ball forward. His real first involvement since coming on as a substitute. Tries to get wide. That's a great challenge in there. Asked for handball, but not given. Great step out. So as we were talking before, Scotty, I mentioned about how goals have just changed this tie just around confidence levels. So the next 5 is going to be very interesting now, because Wellington United, as weirdly as it sounds, have just conceded to go behind. It may force them further back.
Could do.
Into protection mode.
Yeah, I mean, the early indication here is that it's actually spurred them into life to go and get it again. But you're right, it could knock some confidence again and push them deeper, and that's going to be catastrophic for them, because that physicality factor.
Hey, sorry about that. We seem to be... Well, apologies, guys, but we seem to be back up and running after a few issues with the 4G. Never great to run off 4G. Always best to use cello internet, of course. But we're back online, and you come back into a pretty argy-bargy kind of response now. We were just talking as we waited for this to come back up around the fact that the teams are fairly casual around each other, like nothing too really sticking out. But we've started to see that little bit of aggression come through. You haven't missed any of the goals. We're still sitting at 2-1.
And that's the first sort of encounter we've seen of that nature, which is surprising given the magnitude of the game.
That's right. Brian Herodier has kicked that ball into Taradale, I believe.
Wow.
Ball boys are doing their job out there this time now. We've got the ball back. Great Holder will get us restarted.
Yeah, so if you missed that, Great Holder's pulled himself off the bench and straight into the action.
Leavia will get the ball moving forward. Held up in the wind. That breeze looks like it's picking up slightly. Looking to get Perks into the action. He's looking to draw a foul, but wins the ball back. Holds it up. Will be good to get something out of here. Great little ball over the top. Twice for Perks. Still on his feet. And gets clear.
Heredia with a fantastic and hugely important challenge.
I just thought it was just going to drop for a strike. Heredia's had a great job. Ball to the back post, easily picked up.
Those are the moments he's brought himself on for, Sambo, where he gets out into the wide area, a little bit of time and space to deliver with the accuracy that we know that he possesses.
Absolutely. So, just as a further apology, we've got the scoreboard back up and running. There's about 10 minutes remaining in this fixture. So it's getting more and more important now for Havelock to get forward and start to create some chances. Get that clock updated for you momentarily. As I said, there's about 10 minutes to go.
And at 2-1, obviously, if Havelock were to score and to go to 3-1, for those who are catching up also, that would mean that they would take the tie should the game finish 3-1.
Will be a massive few moments if they do get that lead. Wellington United got 10 minutes to see out. Great first challenge. Gets it back.
Apologies if that's come through the audio, but the referee obviously deeming that to be offside.
Yeah, we've had one outage due to 4G. We don't want another one through the Broadcasting Standards Authority.
And now we got a dog on the pitch. I'll tell you what, as strange as that is to see a dog run on and stop the game, the tension is building. It's probably not a bad bit of timing. We've had everything else. Penalties, bookings, goals.
That dog covered more in 20 seconds than you would have done in 30 minutes.
Too true, too true.
Good first win. Great holder to find feet. Frooms just gets it up in the air but can't bring it down. I just would like to see a bit more out of Frooms today in these last 10 minutes. I think he's got the creative key. Pete does a good job. Takes it just off the toe of Junker.
Brave from it, Peak there just to come through and collect whatever's in the way to maybe potentially get the ball away there, eh?
Heredia's taking his time. Ref's giving him the hurry up.
With 10 minutes to go, Sam. Could we have asked for much more? It's all right there for the taking either way. A goal either way really probably decides this tie.
It's been a wonderful tie. I mean, the only time I really thought this was kind of out of control was at 5-2. I thought it was too much in that first leg, and then the late goal to Havelock in that tie to get it back to 5-3 just opened this tie up completely, and it's been another wonderful game.
Yeah, 3 goals down there for Havelock gave them the opportunity to come here and not have to change their mindset too much from the way they want to play here around winning a game.
Yeah.
You know, under a scoreline that's achievable for them.
Yeah, and talking to both coaches, talking to Gishi immediately after that game, 5-3, he was quite comfortable that you know that they were the best side and had that confidence. And you talked to Chris Greyholder, and he thought that third goal was a big game changer. And so they had confidence. So it just set this tie up beautifully, and it hasn't disappointed at 2-1 Havelock North. Joker again. I thought they might have taken a little clip. I am standing miles away. I thought they might have taken a little clip.
I got to say, I felt like that potentially come off him again. Gamesmanship again, run the clock.
I've been a massive fan of Brew over these 2 legs. He's done a superb job for Havelock North.
Yeah, he's really put his body on the line in the protection role when required.
Back into Christensen. Loves that little touch off the chest in the turn. Sevilla wins it back. It's experience.
Well, Krant looks like it's catching up with him now. Is he going to be able to get through this? We've got
It almost looked like he won that ball by mistake when he was trying to foul him.
It's the end of the day for Coco Heredia, who in the start of the second half was lively in that midfield for Wellington United and probably helped them change the tie a bit, but has certainly come out of the game as this half's gone on. So I can understand that change from
So Facu Dione comes on now. Not a great throw-in. He seems to be slotting in deep at left back, so when they're going to leave Fizz slightly higher, or Fizz going into a third centre-back role and playing a back five to see the game out. Probably makes the most sense in terms of just trying to close this out.
It does, apart from the fact that it's Fizz playing centre-back. I can understand moving to 3.
Gives the ball away.
Yes.
Yeah, it was nice feet from Jesse Kang there. Get the ball into Mandalawi. Good strong challenge.
Can't afford to play much more time with 10 men there, Havelock.
No.
I know he doesn't want to be off the field. It looks like they've just made a change.
So Kitchen Nicholson will come on.
Yeah, it's a good decision. At the end of the day, you can try and get him to a point where he can run again. How long does that take?
Yeah.
And then how long does it last when he does get back out there?
Mainly just in front of the deck. He's just not in front of the bench. He just isn't moving well. It's just good to get 11 players on the park.
Yeah.
Brooms does well. Forcing rolls it inside.
Cut out by Leo.
Yeah, just got to avoid Villa in there. McCurdy gets it again.
Some no-frills defending from Fizzer Maiden there. Maybe we were wrong.
It's not very often that happens, Scotty. You really get a sense of drama at the moment, don't you? Yeah, we're sitting with three minutes to go plus stoppages. You really get it. They've really got to start getting it into an area where they're going to cause a threat if one just doesn't drop the right way.
Yeah, I know he was open out here to roll a ball out, but we talked about whether McPeak just goes longer himself or whether when he rolls it out there, he forces that player to have one touch and go forward from there. Because the further he travels with the ball, Wellington United close those spaces down through Leo Villa, protecting well again.
Yeah, we've seen Havelock go a little bit more direct today. I think they need to go really direct.
Yeah.
As we hit the last few minutes. Try to gamble on something, a drop down.
Yeah, look, you've got the difference between a clearance and a clip ball forward. And when you've got to do a clearance, you've got to do a clearance. But I'm also surprised we haven't yet seen him just roll it to a great holder and let him do that.
It's another strong challenge on the edge. Drops to Junker. We've seen what he can do from that sort of range. Villa will rotate back. Irritated advance. But again, Wellington United, they're not really interested in putting the ball at risk to get forward, but then you've got to guarantee the ball. They're giving the ball away in that area. It's not great. Needs some movement out on the right hand side here, Havelock. Great holder's got to check and go central.
More support a little bit closer to him, I think.
Got to try to spread this Wellington United backline now, or at least change the angle for the delivery. That's a better ball. Make them move. Nice little bounce out from Wellington United. And Frooms wins the ball.
They've controlled this 5-minute period, Wellington United, haven't they? They've really made time start to just go away and go missing.
They have.
You know, and all of this sort of stuff, they're okay to get into conflict right now and let the time tick, you know?
Mandalawi cuts inside and outside. Frooms comes through to win it. Havelock getting frustrated with the length of time that Wellington United has taken to get the ball back in.
Yeah, and I understand that. It is frustrating when teams do this, but when you are that team, that is what you have to do in such an important tie. It's really up to the officials to get a stamp on whether it's going to continue or not.
Yeah. And I sometimes feel that in games where it is raised as an issue, there's not enough added on time at the end of the game. Silly free kick. Michael Dione gives away there.
Maiden's really stepped up with that willingness to get up and head balls away, isn't he?
Yeah, gives him a chance to load up the penalty area now.
Oh, and they're loading it too. Look at this.
Why not? Why not? Nothing to lose at this point.
Now it was great Holder not standing over the ball though.
He must have absolute faith in McCurdy here. It's not a bad delivery. He's found a free kick in there.
I'm not sure where that push came from, but
yeah,
hey, he's closer than me. I didn't see it.
Be very interesting to see what goes up on Peter Linney's board here.
He went with a solitary minute in the first half.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 4. And the referee's actually just added another one from the middle. So now we're going up to 5.
Yeah, Havelock won't be upset to see 5 there.
No, and I think that's good refereeing. I mean, I think
me too.
From when he told Peter what was going up, there's been a little bit of delay, tactics on throw-ins and whatnot. So I think he's added an extra minute. I think that will appease some of especially the Havelock North bench.
Yeah.
That will see that additional time getting added.
Might ease a little bit of their frustrations too, to just get on with the game and try and get what they can get out of it from here.
Yeah. So 5 massive minutes in the context of the end of the season and seeing who's going to join the Central League for 2022. Havelock need a goal. Just to reiterate, a 3-1 lead sends them through on away goals. The flick on just too shallow. A little bit wider, they might have had a chance.
They're just a little bit out of gas up top there. You know, not been able to get latch on to some of the stuff that's dropping down the way they were able to, particularly earlier on in the game.
Certainly feel the tension up on the bank. Gone very quiet.
I'd be surprised if there's not a lash out somewhere here in the end of this game as well.
It's going to be a flashpoint. There'll be something. There'll be a big chance, a big challenge. It's always something big in these last few minutes.
Oh, it's all go.
Looking for the delivery in. Great Holder at the back post. Flick on. It's dropped his head!
And they're rushing the field!
Absolutely!
It's standing!
It's gone manic!
Oh my gosh, there's jubilation here at Guthrie Field. And that is exactly what we thought could happen. Just a ball lobbed into the area, into a good area. Come forward and make a mistake for us and give us an opportunity to steal this tie.
Once it dropped, it just dropped. He just wasn't going to miss from there.
Look at Christensen. He can barely walk back at half time. A fantastic result, an unbelievable end to this game.
So there is about 3 minutes. 2.5, 3 minutes to go now. He may add a little bit more considering the celebrations. All but 2 of Wellington United's players on halfway, all streaming forward. Silly foul from Jesse Kang. Just trying to catch a breath. I was just saying it was tense and quiet and the goal's gone in. And it has just changed the atmosphere completely.
It's Havelock's time to play with the clock now. McPeak showing all his experience. Gets a slight clip on the way past. And down he goes. I need a breath. I need a minute ref. But I'll get up and probably smoke this an absolute mile forward. Christensen.
Absolutely epic today.
If I wasn't in the commentary box, I'd clap him off myself.
Albertini replaces him. Christensen embraced by everybody on the bench, and I can't blame him. Absolutely outstanding performance from him today.
Yeah, Havelock continuing to now change the tide, clip all balls away. If they go out, kick it further away. Fizzer meeting some yards here.
Surprise, surprise, Group wins the header. Gets the ball forward again. 3v1 in there. And he's come out with it.
Lack conviction, the strike, didn't it?
Did lack conviction. Now you've got to calm down if you're Havelock North.
And it's just a straight goodbye, go back to return to sender.
Yeah, I think in that transitional moment, you've just got to cut down. The ball actually hasn't gone out.
It's on the
It's
flag.
sitting in the corner.
And Havelock have achieved
It's
it.
Bruce. It's a great holder.
Oh,
It's out for a corner.
what on earth is going on? Could anything else happen here? Oh, I don't know about you, Chris. I've not seen anything like this.
This has been an epic game of football. An epic tie. Now they go into time waste mode, just trying to hold the ball into that corner. They get the throw in out of it, so we're just 2 more time. We've kind of gone past that 95-minute mark.
Oh, the tension.
I don't think there's a second ball that Pete Linney can put up, so we're just waiting on the referee.
And the assistant for Havelock over and in his ear. Come on, ref. Tell him to blow it.
Out for a goal kick. Havelock will funnel back. Wellington United are going to have to get forward. They've taken it quickly. It's a Heredia. He's going to have to drive forward and get a ball out. Loop forward. Nice flick on, but well cleared. All eyes on the referee, Matt Conger again.
And he reaches to his whistle and
And it's all over. Havelock have overturned the 5-3 deficit from the first leg. Yes! Won 3-1 at home at Guthrie Park. And an extraordinary game.
Oh my lord.
And we'll take their spot in Central League 2022. Hard luck on Wellington United.
Oh, hugely unlucky, Sambo, but pure jubilation for the Havelock fans and for the Havelock team and everybody at the ground here to support them today. A great turnout, and they are just over the moon. But you do have to feel for Wellington United, Sambo. The season they put together, and we talked about how well they bounced back to even be there. And then the first tie, the effort they put in, they scored some fantastic goals. But again, that third goal from the first leg left the tie open, and here we are.
It was, for me, it's a story of 2 late goals. And it's the late goal with the first leg at Newtown, and obviously the late goal today. Other than that, Wellington United, I won't say they controlled today's game. They were much better in the second half. But because of the early goals, they controlled the tie.
Yeah.
And at 5-2, they controlled the tie going into the second leg, and they coughed up one in injury time, which meant that this game was always going to be much closer. And we just hoped for a good game. And what was delivered today was just out of this world in terms of drama.
If somebody handed you a bit of paper earlier and said, hey, write down an extreme script that you hope plays out so that it's just fantastic for the viewers, it's fantastic for the people, and for the neutrals, because at the end of the day, we also have to acknowledge it's not fantastic for Wellington United, right? And where there's a winner and absolute jubilation, there's the other side of the coin as well. But you wouldn't have written this. You wouldn't have said, oh yeah, this is how it's going to go. I would have dreamt this up.
No, and there's going to be a lot of worried Wellington clubs out there that sat 8th in their divisions, because obviously the knock-on effect of Havelock entering the league is going to mean that there's going to be the additional playoff series or additional relegations through the capital structure. So it's huge ramifications on this result.
Yeah.
But obviously, most importantly, for Havelock North, it's about another crack at Central League, where they were there a few years ago with short notice to really prepare for that season. And they worked really, really hard to put something on, but ultimately we're just left short.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a great chance for Chris Greatholder to get this team together and really push for the next one.
We talked about how hard Wellington United worked to get here and to put on the performance they've put on, and good on them, but also Havelock, the work that they've obviously put together and the struggles that they've been through. We talked about earlier the amount of players they've had to use across the season, maybe not being the team or bringing the team to the game and to the tie this week that they had envisaged and maybe wanted, but getting it done anyway, anyhow, in the most dramatic fashion, but they're there and through sheer determination.
And it shows, relying on the youth and the reserve team players coming up, they won both these games, or they've got the big goals in both these games late.
Yeah.
And that just shows just the mental attitude of the players that they've got. And they'll walk around in front of their supporters here and soak up the adulation that they deserve for what they've put out. Because they have done a wonderful job.
An absolute despair for Wellington United as this all happens around them. That can't be easy either. Really nice scenes to see some of the Havelock boys go around and leave everything on the field, but just shake hands, console the other team.
Great bit of sportsmanship from Wellington United.
Yeah.
Applauding them as they go past. It's obviously going to be a tough moment for them, but taking it graciously.
Could Christensen get any cooler?
Nah.
He literally limped his way through to the end of the game.
I don't know how he was walking those last 10.
Well, he
but
just wasn't.
It was just the crucial figure in today, bar none.
Yeah, we talked tactically how they looked to change and how crucial he would be to whether that was going to work today, and he was absolutely outstanding.
Do you still want me to or not?
So players get it together for their celebratory photo, and we'll get presented the trophy for the playoff series. So as they soak it up, receive the trophy, which signifies their place in the Central League next year. It will be a big challenge for them. And with that, thank you everyone for tuning in to Cello Sport. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Catch all the futsal action tomorrow, and look forward to us bringing you Napier under-19s in a few weeks' time. So everyone, thanks again for joining. Thanks Scotty for joining me, and we look forward to you tuning in soon.